Good morning, grade 4. How are you all? Hope you will be fine. Students, in this English lesson, I'll read the story of Dr. Dolittle, unit number 6 from Oxford Modern English. So, you are supposed to open your book and read the story with me. But before start, I'll tell you the summary of the story. The story of Dr. Dolittle is a children's novel by the English writer Hogg Lofting. Dr. Dolittle lived with his sister Sarah in a new house in Puddleby on the marsh. He was a famous doctor who loved animals and had many of them. His pets were a small parrot, Polynesia, a pig, Gub Gub, a duck, Dab Dab, and an owl, Tutu. One day, Polynesia and an animal food salesman suggested to Dr. Dolittle to become a veterinarian. Polynesia started explaining to the doctor the way in which animals talk, such as the movement of their eyes, paws, and tails. Dr. Dolittle, with Polynesia's help, became a veterinarian and learned how to understand animals. The news about him spread fast and new patients were coming on his way. When Dolittle became a veterinarian, he started making a lot of money. Understand, students? Now come to the page number 64, the story of Dr. Dolittle. Words to know. Butcher's book. The book the butcher uses for writing down what meat has been supplied and how much is owed. Cracked, a thin, crisp wafer or biscuit. Dresser, a low chest of drawers. Hedgehog, a type of small mammal with sharp spine covering the body. Linen closet, a cabinet or recess for storing clothing and sheets. Pantry, a small room usually near a kitchen where food and other dining articles are stored. Porridge, a soft food made by boiling oats or cereal in water or milk. Rheumatism, a condition in which discomfort is felt in the limbs or joints. Ridiculous, silly, deserving to be made fun of. Weeping willow, a type of tree with long branches and leaves that reach down to the ground. Let's start the story. Once upon a time, many years ago, when our grandfathers were little children, there was a doctor and his name was Dolittle. John Dolittle, MD. MD means that he was a proper doctor and knew a whole lot. He lived in a little town called Puddleby on the marsh. All the folks, young and old, knew him well by sight. The dogs and the children would all run up and follow behind him, and even the crows that lived in the church tower would caw and nod their heads. The house he lived in on the edge of the town was quite small, but his garden was very large and had a wide lawn and stone seats and weeping willows hanging over. His sister Sarah Dolittle was the housekeeper for him. He was very fond of animals and kept many kinds of pets. Besides the goldfish in the pond and the bottom of his garden, he had rabbits in the pantry, while mice in his piano, a squirrel in the linen closet, and a hedgehog in the cellar. Cellar is an underground room often used for storing things. He had a cow with a calf too, and an old lame horse. Lame is disabled. Lame is disabled. 25 years of age, and chickens and 2 lambs and many other animals. But his favorite pets were Dab Dab, the duck, Jip, the dog, Polynesia, the parrot, and the owl, Tutu. His sister used to grumble about all these animals and said they made the house untidy. Students, as he had a lot of animals in his house, so they were making the house untidy. That's why his sister always grumble, always mutter about it, that his animals, his pets were making his house dirty. And one day, when an old lady with rheumatism came to see the doctor, rheumatism is a type of disease marked by inflammation and pain in the joints. She sat on the hedgehog, who was sleeping on the sofa, and never came to see him anymore, but drove every Saturday all the way to Oxenthorpe. Oxenthorpe is a village in England, another town 10 miles off, to see a different doctor. Then his sister Sarah Dolittle came to him and said, "John, how can you expect sick people to come and see you when you keep all these animals in the house? If you go on like this, none of the best people will have you for a doctor." "But I like the animals better than the best people," said the doctor. The doctor replied that I'll like the animal more than the best people. "You are ridiculous." Ridiculous mean funny. You can say making the thing happy. Understand, students? Said his sister, and walked out of the room. So, as time went on, the doctor got more and more animals, and the people who came to see him got less and less, till at last he had no one left except the cat's meat man, who didn't mind any kind of animals. And now, when he walked down the street in his high hat, people would say to one another, "There goes John Dolittle, MD. There was a time when he was the best known doctor in the West Country. Look at him now. He hasn't any money and his stockings are full of holes." When there was no patient and no one to visit him, he was poor man. He was poor doctor. He had nothing in his pocket. But the dogs and the cats and the children still ran up and followed him through the town, the same as they had done when he was rich. One day the doctor was sitting in his kitchen talking with the cat's meat man, who had come to see him with a stomachache. "Why don't you give up being a people's doctor and be an animal doctor?" asked the cat's meat man. The parrot Polynesia was sitting in the window looking out at the rain. She started to listen. "You see, doctor," the cat's meat man went on, "you know all about animals, much more than these vets do. That book you wrote about cats, why, it is wonderful. You might have been a cat yourself. You know the way they think and listen. You can make a lot of money doctoring animals. Do you know that? You see, I did send all the old women who had sick cats or dogs to you. And look, all the farmers round about who had lame horses and weak lambs. They did come. Be an animal doctor." Now in this paragraph you see that the cat's meat man is suggesting Dr. Dolittle to become a veterinarian, the animal doctor. When the cat's meat man had gone, the parrot flew off the window on the doctor's table and said, "That man's got sense. That's what you ought to do. Be an animal doctor." "Oh, there are plenty of animal doctors," said John Dolittle. "Yes, there are plenty," said Polynesia, "but none of them are any good at all. Now listen, doctor, and I'll tell you something. Did you know that animals can talk?" "I knew that parrots can talk," said the doctor. "Oh, we parrots can talk in 2 languages, People's language and birds' language, said Polynesia proudly. If I say Polly wants a cracker, you understand me, but hear this kai fifi. Good gracious, cried the doctor. What does that mean? That means, is the porridge hot yet? In bird language. My, you don't say so, said the doctor. You never talked that way to me before. What would have been the good? Said Polynesia, dusting some cracker crumbs off her left wing. You wouldn't have understood me if I had. Tell me some more, said the doctor, all excited, and he rushed over to the dresser drawer and came back with the butcher's book and a pencil. Now don't go too fast, and I'll write it down. This is interesting, very interesting, something quite new. Give me the bird's ABC first, slowly now. Now, the doctor is getting interest in bird's language, and he wants the parrot to tell him more and more about the bird's language. So that was the way the doctor came to know that animals had a language of their own and could talk to one another. And all that afternoon, while it was raining, Polynesia sat on the kitchen table giving him bird words to put down in the book. Understand, students? Now you are required to read the story for 2 times and answer the following questions given at the end of the story. Understand, students? This is your task for today. Thank you.